Coming up, we got so many awesome guests. Make sure you tune in later Saturday for Central Indiana Sports Central, where I talk to local media about all the best games from Friday night.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Central Indiana sports fans, and welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report's Week 1 high school football scoreboard show. I expected to have Michelle Garmon here with me at Stage 22. She said she wasn't feeling her best. She did join me on the phone for a couple of segments, but it was just me throughout the night interviewing coaches. Michelle did go to the Tipton game at Frankton, the game of the week, and she had a full report from that and audio from Coach Tolle at Tipton and Coach Wells at Frankton. In the intro there, I mentioned our daily show, Central Indiana Sports Central. It airs Monday through Friday, just after midnight, most nights. On Saturdays, it will be later, maybe even afternoon, possibly even evening. The priority is this show on Saturdays, and Central Indiana Sports Central is a roundup of everything that's going on in Central Indiana. And on Friday night, as far as we're concerned, high school football is the only thing going on in Central Indiana. We may give you a score or two. For example, the Fever played tonight. We'll have a couple details from that. We might talk about another high school sport every once in a while, but almost all the time it'll be only high school football on Central Indiana Sports Central on Saturdays. Again, every other day it will be available first thing in the morning. Also, very busy weekend. Later today, we will have our reaction to the Colts preseason game against the Bengals, maybe, and a Fever report, likely, and an IU report, which will probably be moved to Sunday. It's been a really busy week. We also have a couple of IndyCar podcasts scheduled for this weekend. We will preview the Milwaukee race on Saturday and then react to it on Sunday with our IndyCar guy Elijah Poe and probably Dave Chanley and maybe a couple others. So if any of that interests you, go and subscribe right now. I'm going to start with some scores around Central Indiana and across the state. Then we'll get a report from Michelle Garmon on the Tipton-Frankton game. And we will have audio from Tipton head coach Aaron Tolle and Frankton's first-year head coach Marty Wells. We'll also hear from Elwood head coach Sammy Mireles, Eastbrook's Jeff Adamson, Madison-Grant coach Brady Turner, Eastern's Josh Edwards after a thrilling victory, and Eastern Hancock head coach Josh Holden makes his Central Indiana Sports Report debut after an impressive Royals victory. All right, here we go. The scores from all around Central Indiana and really any score of interest from around the state. We're going to have it for you right now. We start with our game of the week, which, of course, Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood call leader had covered. The final score there was Tipton 41, Frankton 12. Again, we will have more details coming up. Tipton-Frankton was the game of the week. The game of the night was in Greentown. Crazy come-from-behind victory from the 11th ranked Comets, 26-22 over Oak Hill. Gibson Eagle threw a 30-yard touchdown pass to Caleb Hurt with 4 seconds left for the win. It was a crazy good week 1 in football. We will hear from Eastern head coach Josh Edwards coming up, and Kevin Helfrich of the Action Sports Network gave us a rundown on the game on the Central Indiana Sports Central, which again will be out later today. Class 2A number 9 Eastbrook got past Huntington North 21-20. The difference was a missed extra point in the final seconds. We'll hear from Jeff Adamson coming up about how the Panthers got the job done. Elwood beat Southern Wells 14-8 for the Panthers' first win at home in 5 years. We spoke with Elwood head coach Sammy Mireles. That's coming up after the scoreboard here. Class A number 9 Madison-Grant beat Tri-Central 42-0. The Argyles are 13-3 in their last 16 games. Madison-Grant head coach Brady Turner joined me We'll have that for you in just a moment. Class 2A number 11 Alexandria beat Westdale 47-0. Brady Gass threw 5 touchdown passes in the first half alone. We'll get Elijah Poe's reaction to the Tigers' win on Tuesday's high school football report, where we'll do a roundup from across the region with members of the media, usually Michelle, and name our players, performances, and teams of the week. Plus, we'll unveil our first power poll of the year. And this year with Hamilton, Hancock, and Boone counties, it's going to be tough just to get into the top 20. Alexandria will be in it, I assure you. Also in it will be 3A number 6 Mississinewa, which beat Norwell 35-0. Same exact score as last year. Congrats to Coach Lochner on his first varsity head coaching victory. Big game next week in Gas City against Marion. Jay County beat Blackford 56-6. It was head coach Eddie Fields' first win in his debut for the Patriots. Their 5th straight win over Blackford to start a season. Their 14th win over the Bruins overall. It was the other way around when I was growing up. Nick Laux had 204 yards and 3 touchdowns passing and had a rushing touchdown for Jay County. Big night for the LaBelle Bulldogs, 23-7 winners over Hamilton Heights. The Bulldogs did it with their defense. Richie Hall will have a report on this one on Tuesday's high school football report. Another independent team with a big win, Eastern Hancock 50-14 over Greencastle. We'll hear from Royals head coach Josh Holden coming up after an impressive win in his debut. Cole Stevens had a big day at quarterback for the Royals. Our friend Cody Emerson from the Greencastle Banner Graphic will have a report on Saturday morning's Central Indiana Sports Central. In the North Central Conference, we had some really good candidates for Tuesday's Team of the Week. One of those will be the Muncie Central Bearcats, a big 16-13 win over Delta in Kyle Baresh's debut as head coach. He will, of course, also be a Coach of the Week candidate. I think he won that about 12 times last year. Anyway, Delta had won 19 straight openers, crazy. And it's Central's first win in a season opener in 8 years. Muncie Central and Delta will be the lead on Saturday's Central Indiana Sports Central. Tune in for a report from the Star Press's Kate Hampton. Marion won a wild win over Fort Wayne South in Marion. Final score is 48-42. Tim Jones scored the game-winning touchdown from 17 yards out with 25 seconds left to give the Giants the victory. He ran for 2 touchdowns. He threw for 2 touchdowns in the win. We expected to have Scott Hunt of the Marion Chronicle on to talk about it, but they are under a bit of a new process at the Chronicle, and he ran out of time. We'll hear from him on Tuesday's football report. In the meantime, go check out the Chronicle Tribune. He told us Friday morning that he's working on some new stuff, and Scott Hunt is a good one. Go support him. Number 1 New Pal began its demolition of the state of Indiana with a 52-0 win over 4A number 14 Kokomo. The Dragons had 434 yards on the ground. This may be the best New Pal team yet. Rough debut for Caleb Small as the Wildcats head coach, but he's a good one, and he'll get that team going in the right direction. They're going to win a lot of games this year. In fact, 4 weeks from now, they may just be 4-1 before a stretch that includes Marion and Lafayette Jeff in weeks 6 and 7. Also in the Hoosier Heritage, big win for Pendleton Heights, 22-14 over Lebanon. Yorktown blanked Anderson 55-0. Franklin County got past Newcastle 27-13. Shelbyville beat Greensburg 34-14, and Beech Grove had one of the biggest upsets across the state on Friday night, beating 5A number 5 Greenfield Central 28-9. In 2 games last year, Greenfield Central outscored Beech Grove by almost 100 points. They scored over 110 points against the Hornets in 2 games. That is quite a turnaround, quite an upset. To the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, 6A number 9 Carmel took out number 8 Fishers 49-24 in Kevin Wright's return. Sounds like something I'm making up, but it's one of Michelle Garmon's dog's owner's son. Anthony Colner ran for 112 yards and 3 touchdowns and completed 9 of his 12 passes for 192 yards and another score for the Greyhounds. Yes, one of the she-dog sits, the family's son, is Anthony Colner, the quarterback of the Carmel Greyhounds, and he's a good one. Noblesville beat Class 4A number 16 Mount Vernon 21-6 in John Hebert's debut as the Millers head coach. Number 3 Westfield beat Homestead 35-0. The Rocks led 13-0 at the half. Then Deacon King really got going, and the final 24 minutes was one-sided. Number 5 Hamilton Southeastern got past Fort Wayne Carroll 14-7. A lot of great, close, dramatic games on Friday, and this was another one of those. Another one, 6A number 14 Avon beat defending 5A champion and number 9 Decatur Central 30-28 in overtime. Number 1 Brownsburg beat Spalding, Maryland 36-23. Look out for the Bulldogs. Braden Sharp had 6 catches for 158 yards and 2 scores. Franklin Central beat Perry Meridian 48-6, and Zionsville blanked Pike 27-0. In Boone County, Western Boone fell to 3A number 14 Tri-West 35-7. In Hamilton County, 3A number 13 Guerin Catholic beat McCutcheon 30-13, a facsimile of last year's win over the Mavs. In Jake Chesney's debut as head coach, Sheridan got past Greenwood Christian 32-29, the first game played by Sheridan in 60 years without Bud Wright on the sidelines. In the Hoosier Conference, along with Tipton's win, Logansport, which is coming off a 9-win season, their best since they won the North Central Conference in 2005, beat Peru 48-0 in this year's season opener. The Berries retained the Baldini Cup. 2A number 5 Lafayette Central Catholic lost in a stunning upset to Seeger 31-13, one of the shockers of the night. Indian Creek beat Western 20-13. The 13th straight loss for the Panthers, but I think that ends next week. If it doesn't, it may be a while until first-year head coach Austin Colby gets a win. Really tough schedule for the Panthers. And last year they were not a typical winless team. They were a lot better than that, but the schedule is rough for Western. Rensselaer Central beat Kankakee Valley 28-21. Big win for the Bombers. Twin Lakes beat North Montgomery 39-14. In the Hoosier Heartland, Class A number 15 Taylor beat North White 64-0. I guess that sectional championship last year gave them a little bit of confidence. Look out, everybody. It was the Titans' first shutout win since a 33-0 win over Blackhawk on August 25th, 2023. Class A number 5 Carroll handled Caston 41-6. Delphi beat Penton Central 54-0. The Oracles play rival Twin Lakes next week for the War for the Ore. Clinton Central blanked Frankfort 30-0, and Frontier beat Clinton Prairie 37-26. In the Three Rivers Conference, there were 3 conference games. Manchester is 1-0 in league play after beating Northwestern 33-21. Rochester got past Southwood 42-0. And Class 3A number 8 Mechaniqua impressive start 61-20 over Wabash. The Braves had 683 yards of total offense. Class A number 10 North Miami beat Northfield 44-15. Lewis Cass was shut out by number 11 Pioneer 28-0. And Whitco beat Prairie Heights 30-22 to snap a 19-game losing streak. Their last win was 2 years ago over the same Prairie Heights team. The Panthers had 5 turnovers. Whitco didn't have any. A couple of other local games. 2A number 10 Bluffton beat Shenandoah 29-22 with a field goal with 24 seconds left. And Winchester got past Monroe Central 40-6. You'll hear from Zach Carter from the Star Press about an impressive win by the Falcons on Saturday's Central Indiana Sports Central. Some other games that we did not mention around the state. 6A number 2 Center Grove beat number 7 Warren Central 24-6. And third-ranked Lawrence North beat crosstown rival Lawrence Central 34-27 when Zay Moore scored with 1.2 seconds left to take the bell. 6A number 6 Crown Point beat Lowell 38-7. 6A number 12 Penn beat 5A number 7 Valpo 21-13. Penn got a sack on the final play with the Vikings at the 12-yard line. 5A number 1 Concord beat 6A number 6 Elkhart 35-29. Bo Brenner threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another. 5A number 9 Warsaw beat number 11 Snyder 38-30. It's Warsaw's first win over the Panthers since 1979. Just their 4th over Snyder in program history. 5A number 3 Merrillville got past 2A number 4 Andrean 41-14. Michael Hill was 19 for 23, 274 yards, and threw 4 touchdowns, all in the first half. 5A number 6 Plainfield beat Terre Haute South 31-7. Number 5 East Central beat Lawrenceburg 39-12, and Mooresville upset 5A number 6 Bloomington North 28-14 for Coach Mike Gillen's 369th career win, moving him into 3rd place all-time, now behind only the aforementioned Bud Wright and Knox's Russ Radke. Connor Cruz threw for 3 scores. 5A number 8 Castle lost to Evansville North 33-22. 4A number 2 East Noble beat Wayne 42-0. 4A number 5 Chittard got past 5A number 6 Jeff 35-28. Cam Harden scored the game winner with 1:44 left. Danny Adams scored 3 times for the Trojans. Bedford North Lawrence, which won just 2 games last year, upset 4A number 3 Martinsville 33-15. It's the Stars' first win over Martinsville since 1992 in the season opener, and their first season opening win in 8 years. 4A number 4 Columbia City beat Northwood for the first time since 1977. Final score is 27-24. North Central beat 4A number 7 Brebeuf 35-13, and 4A number 10 Roncalli beat 4A number 8 Dwinger 8-0. Carson Keller had 10 tackles, including a tackle for loss for the Roncalli defense. 3A number 10 Leo beat 3A number 1 Lures 14-7. 3A number 2 and soon-to-be number 1 Evansville Memorial beat Jasper 36-14. Although you probably couldn't blame people if they voted Leo number 1 after beating Lures. 3A number 5 Mater Dei beat Evansville Central 44-14. And Harrison beat 3A number 7 West Lafayette 28-21. 3A number 7 Gibson Southern defeated 4A number 8 Danville 35-28. 2A number 1 Adams Central won a defensive battle 7-0 over Garrett. We'll have a report on Saturday's Central Indiana Sports Central from a friend of the podcast, Sam Frick of ANEC Sports. 2A number 3 Lutheran beat Addicts 52-30. Number 6 Brownstown topped Corden Central 63-0. Maybe this is finally the year for Coach May. Number 8 Heritage Christian beat Speedway 36-15. The first head coaching win for the Eagles' Caleb Brink. In Class A, number 1 Providence beat New Albany 49-14. Class A number 2 North Judson lost to Knox 38-6. Number 3 South Putnam beat North Putnam 53-33, and number 6 South Adams lost to Marion Local from Ohio 56-0. It's the Flyers' 65th straight win. It takes a lot of courage for South Adams just to take that game. Nice win for Jason Hawkins, returning to his alma mater, Clarksville, where he took the Generals to a state championship in 1997 under his father, Dennis. In his debut at Clarksville, his Generals beat Pike Central 41-36, snapping an 11-game losing streak for Clarksville. He's one of my favorites. Of course, had a lot of success at Charlestown and Silver Creek, and now returning to his alma mater, trying to turn that program around. Gage Overbay from Tippecanoe Valley hit 2 48-yard field goals, setting then tying a school record in the Vikings' 20-3 win over Plymouth. Owen Valley snapped an 11-game losing streak by beating Brown County 46-24. And the last note before we get to some roundups and some coaches, good luck to the Elwood Panthers girls flag football team as the program makes its debut Saturday against Ritter. Please stay tuned for Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader sports editor Michelle Garmon and her report on the Tipton-Frankton game and her interviews with Aaron Tolle and Marty Wells. Also coming up is Elwood head coach Sammy Mireles after the Panthers' big win over Southern Wells. Eastbrook's head coach Jeff Adamson after their win over Huntington North. Madison-Grant head coach Brady Turner after his Argyles defeated Tri-Central. Josh Edwards of Eastern after his team's thrilling victory over Oak Hill. And Eastern Hancock's Josh Holden, who won his debut as the Royals head coach. I am joined now on the phone rather than at stage 22 with Michelle Garmon. Not feeling her best, so she decided to do the scoreboard show on the phone tonight and give us a report on Tipton and Frankton.
Both teams dealt with cramping issues. Both coaches said that, and they couldn't understand why, because it wasn't that hot, so it was concern for both of them to work on between now and next week. I think the difference is just Tipton played a cleaner game. Frankton had three defensive pass interference penalties, a pair of face masks, and a late hit out of bounds. Some of those were half the distance, but 7 penalties for 76 yards. Tipton had 4 penalties for 27 yards, and only one of theirs was a major infraction. I think Frankton's defense looked very good at times. I think where they struggled was the secondary, and you will hear in my post-game interview with Coach Marty Wells that he said that too, that they got caught trying to play man coverage with zone principles and stuff. So it's a learning thing for those kids. Quinn Tolle was really good tonight, threw for almost 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he and even Frankton's Ethan Stansbury, I'm telling you what, those guys are diehards, because Quinn played just about every snap because he's quarterback, he's the safety, he's the PAT holder, he's the backup guy for in front of the punter.
Pretty impressive night for him. We knew it was coming, but nice to see it come to fruition from him tonight.
It was a nice start. I think the great thing is Dakota Garmon. 6 catches for 199 yards. The 3 of Tolle's touchdown passes came to were to him. He got behind the Frankton defense on those touchdown passes. He stepped up a whole other level this year, his play, and that's a nice thing for Tipton to see, to have that, because they also have other guys that can catch the ball. So if he does it, and then you get a guy that teams are going like, we got to take him away, so we're going to double team him, then that just means you're going to get somebody else in single coverage. Running game, Tipton's doing a running back by committee this year, and I think it really worked. Tolle had some good yards. Slade Springer led the team with 71 yards and a touchdown. Zane Durham had almost 60 yards and a touchdown. It's a nice thing. There's still a lot of work to be done on that offense. He thinks they need to get better up front and some things. He was pretty pleased with his defense for first 3 quarters. Marty was pretty pleased with his defense too, other than I think those breakdowns on those passes and then the penalties. And defensively, Frankton made 2 goal line stands. I think they stopped Tipton 2 other times on 4th down, but Frankton, they fumbled the ball. They fumbled 2 kickoffs. They had 2 other fumbles. It was just, they struggled. They really could never get their running game going, except for Eli Wax in the 4th quarter. But a lot of his yardage came after Aaron had already, pulled his ones and was kind of going with his 2s, 3s. But I thought Ethan Stansbury looked pretty good at quarterback. They rolled him out a lot. I thought he did a nice job of checking down and completing passes underneath. And then he threw a couple nice over the middle, deeper balls. I mean, I thought he got better as the game went on. He struggled a little bit running. Frankton, I think they're just going to have to develop and kind of gel up front and on those lines.
And Michelle, here is your interview with Frankton head coach Marty Wells after his first game as the Eagles head coach.
Tough night. I mean, there were some good things that happened, but it was just Tipton kind of played a cleaner game.
No, I don't think they had a penalty until the end when they were offsides a couple times. But.
And they didn't have the turn. They didn't turn the ball over or.
Yeah, and it seemed like when the ball was on the ground, it went right back to them, and so they got a couple. They recovered a couple of their own, where we lost them. And we had a couple of nice. The one goal line stand down here.
Yes, you did.
I think we had one on each end actually.
You did.
You can't play man coverage with zone principles and zone techniques, and that we got caught a couple times. And we've been harping on that all summer. When the ball's in the air, you got to play the man and then play the ball. But we want to turn to the field, so then when we turn to the field, we lose the receiver on top of us, and that cost us. We missed a couple tackles on that one long pass play, but like we talked about the other night for the podcast, that defensively we're ahead of us. We're ahead offensively. And that showed tonight. We did some nice things in the passing game. We didn't run the ball very well at all. Even some of our quarterback runs were a little ineffective. So we got to keep pushing the envelope offensively. And we got good kids. They want to do it. It's just a matter of.
It's not often that your passing game is kind of ahead of your running game, and that was it. I thought Ethan, he settled into the game, and once he settled in, he did a nice job of keeping his poise, finding underneath, throwing over the top when it was there.
And we scripted the first 12 plays. There's probably a couple times we could have got out of something, one of those but I wanted to see how they're going to defend some of our different formations, so we just scripted by formation. But what concerns me is, as cool as it was tonight, we still had cramps galore. And we have had cramps all during August. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. We only have 2 running backs the way it is. Then Wax got dinged up, so we had to get Kress. And Tillery is actually the third back, and he only played, the first quarter, I think, only about half of that quarter. So we're down to, I'm not sure we have a healthy running back, honestly.
Well, I thought Ethan did a nice job. Wax did there in the fourth quarter, but I thought special teams, your punting team is pretty good. Hunter Ullery is really good.
Yeah. That's what he focuses on. He's just on the team to punt. Special teams wise, because of our lack of depth, we try to get our older kids off and get them some blows every once in a while, put some younger kids on, and they got exposed. So we're gonna we got to continue to develop some depth. Number one, and two, those young kids have got to. There's a difference between a Tuesday night junior high game and a Friday night varsity game, and especially when you're playing quality like we played tonight. But we'll get there. I mean, it's not time to push the panic button. Our kids, we fought to the end, which that's one of the things we talked about afterwards. I was very happy about. We could have very easily
hold it all.
Yeah. So,
of course, it only gets tougher next week.
Yeah, and we told them last week after the scrimmage. I told them the same thing tonight. We did some good things.
Yes, you did.
But now we got to fix the things that hurt us. And again, I think our kids are wanting to do that. They're willing to do that, and we'll get there. It's just going to. I told them at halftime. We said from the get-go, we're in for the long haul. It's a long season, and come out at halftime at 0-0. I think we started to do some nice things in the third quarter, and we turned the ball over, and then gave up a big play, and kind of the wheels were wobbling, and they came all the way off at some point. But coaching staff wise, we're disappointed with the number of points we gave up. But I told Aaron that offensive line and offensively and defensively for that matter, he's got a good football team. He's going to win some games. everybody's got to stay away from the injury bug, but if he stays healthy, they're going to win a football game.
I kind of talked about it in the podcast leading up to the season. This is ahead of Frankton right now. Just in experience, Coach Tolle has been there for a long, long time. He's got a lot of veteran players, good veteran players back. Whereas Frankton, other than I know Marty was there, they pretty much have a brand new coaching staff, and they have some brand new schemes, and they have some experience. So I think their learning curve is going to be maybe a little bit quicker than like an inexperienced team. They just got to find some depth a little bit. I do think Tipton has a little bit more depth. Tipton's defense they were pretty good. I think Frankton had like 29, 30 yards at halftime, and that came on. That basically came on a big pass play there to start the second quarter. And excuse me.
No problem.
But Frankton has to be happy because it was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. But Tipton they were able to punch, 3 scores in the second quarter. One of them was set up after Tipton took a 14-0 lead. Frankton fumbled the ensuing kickoff, and Tipton turned it into a touchdown, 21-0. But like Marty said, Frankton did not quit. His kids battled till the very end. They were still trying to score and still playing really hard.
All right, Michelle, let's hear from Tipton Blue Devil head coach Aaron Tolle after the victory.
It's week 1 of the high school football season, and you probably kind of saw what you expect to see in week 1. Some really good things and some
certainly
things
looked like week 1. Yes, there were some good things, but obviously we've got a ton to work on. Made a bunch of mistakes. Just had a lot of cramping. It's not even hot out. Just got a lot of things to work on. We got to get better up front. Blitz linebackers, we didn't do a very good job of picking them up. I thought defense was, for the most part, especially first 3 quarters, was outstanding for the most part. I think they had 29 yards at halftime. So if our defense can play to that level for 4 quarters and we can clean up some things offensively, we got a shot at being pretty good.
Quinn and Dakota had a nice little connection going tonight.
Yeah, Dakota's I don't know, he's a different dude than he was last year. He's kind of turned the page and
he looks bigger
and wants to be and as much mentally as anything, he wants to be the guy. And when you're the guy, you demand the ball and you make plays, and he did that tonight. So really, really proud of him.
I thought Zane Durham did a really nice job for you on both sides of the ball, and then Springer gave you. Your committee by running back really paid dividends for you tonight.
Yes, I thought all 3 backs ran the ball really, really well. I don't think we're going to have that guy that's going to carry it 20 times, but I think we can rotate, hopefully, and keep guys fresh and kind of make it competitive, friendly competitiveness with each other, and just have a stable of running backs. We haven't had that for a while.
Did you hold your breath when Quinn stayed down on the field there for a moment?
He took a shot for sure, but he's a tough kid. I think we all did, but he's a tough kid. He got up and did some good things.
Now you go. Elwood won tonight. Now you get to go. You're gonna face another
CIC team, and again, rivalry game. It's one of our 3 home games, so we're going to try to motivate our kids to play much better next week and against a rival. And we said the same thing this week. You better go out and perform, because this is it makes their season. To beat us would make their season. So we've got to do everything in our power to make sure that doesn't happen.
You look at their schedule, they got a chance to get on a roll. They host Elwood on Friday. They will be heavy favorites in that. Of course, Elwood did get a win tonight.
So they have another rivalry game next week. I don't mean any disrespect to Elwood or Coach Mireles and his staff, but I don't think you could really call Tipton and Elwood a rivalry anymore when Elwood, you have to go back to 2000, early 2000s. Most of these games have been by 3 or more touchdowns. So
Right.
hard to say it's a rivalry when the scores have been that big.
You and I have a new picks competition where we start with the least competitive game and go to the most competitive game, and that one's going to be right on top. Nothing against the Panthers.
No offense, Coach Mireles, to the Panthers. I look for the Blue Devils to roll next week at home again because they only have 3 home games this year, so they're going to want to make the most of them.
Yeah,
And so
the next 2 weeks are 2 of them.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks so much, Michelle. Appreciate it. I hope you start feeling better. And next Friday, we will do this at Stage 22 and make it a big extravaganza. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome.
Welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Elwood head coach Sammy Mireles, after a 14-8 win over Southern Wells, the Panthers' first home victory in 5 years. Coach, I bet you guys are feeling pretty good tonight.
Any win's special. It was a grind. Southern Wells brought a good team over, better than last year, but it was a grind in the middle. We had mistakes. They had a costly mistake. Ball went over the punter's head. We got it inside the 5-yard line and scored to go ahead, up 14-8. But we scored once again before that and got called back for a penalty. But we fumbled the ball, so it was a really good ball game.
Who played well for you, Coach?
Abe Galejos, outside linebacker, number 2. He stepped real good. Connor Wooten, Bracken Jetty, Sean Evans, and defense played good ball. They for our first game, really, we got a lot of things to work on still.
Coach, looking ahead to Tipton next week, big challenge in week 2.
We just got to work on the little things. Tipton's always a good ball club. Like playing them over there, and they got the tall boy quarterback, and here he likes to throw the ball.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Eastbrook head coach Jeff Adamson. And Coach, big win tonight over a good team.
Yeah, it really was. Our defense played extremely well. We had an interception that was returned for a score. We had a punt return for a score. Mustered one, maybe a 20-yard drive for a score. And that ended up being enough for the win.
That's called finding a way to get the job done.
That's exactly what it was. I don't know. I haven't seen the stat sheet yet. I know that we barely had over 100 yards of offense on the night, but our special teams came up big, the defense came up big, and Huntington missed an extra point with about 8 seconds left in the game, so we were able to pull out the win.
It seems like maybe your defense is quite a bit ahead of your offense at this point, Coach?
We started a little sluggish defensively, I guess. Maybe the difference between your scout team and a really good explosive offense, I think. But guys settled in and played really well. I think against a team that's got some speed and a lot of size up front. But we were able to get a couple sacks and a couple knockdown passes and that kind of thing. Offensively, we just had a really hard time moving. Their defensive front, they were quite a bit bigger than us. We had 3 turnovers on offense, made it a little tougher for us. But you guys just, like you said, you find a way to win and get to leave there happy.
Pretty high expectations for this team going forward, I assume, Coach.
I think the good thing, and I told the guys, is that I think we've got a lot of room to grow. We came out of there with a win, but I don't think we played our best, especially offensively. And I think there's it's one of those that you almost love from a coaching standpoint. You get the win, but you had enough things we can chew on them about tomorrow at film that I think we'll be able to keep their attention and keep them focused on improvement.
Thanks so much, Coach. Always appreciate your time. Congratulations.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us once again. Madison-Grant head coach Brady Turner after his Argyle's 42-0 win over Tri-Central. Anytime you win, I'm sure there's a lot to like. What stood out to you?
I thought we played with good effort, and I thought our secondary did a really good job with the challenges that they were put up against. You know, they were a spread team that we was different from what we faced Tri-Central in the past. They were usually a running team, but they were a spread team, and we were able to do pretty adapt to it and have some success with it.
Replacing a veteran quarterback like you had to do in Xavier Yagi is never easy. You bring in Dylan Martin. How did you feel he performed in his first game as the varsity starter?
Dylan did really well. He's a sophomore, but he's played in several different varsity sports other than football. He was mature about it. He handled the offense real well, and overall, he just did a really good job. He noticed what we were in and made some. He had 2 touchdown passes. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Anybody else stand out to you, Coach?
Rosin White. We gave him the ball a few times, and he did what he does. And we haven't done stats yet, but he was close to 100. And OJ did an awesome job at blocking. And you know, our secondary, like I mentioned before, they had 3 picks, and we're able to get us in really good field position, and just our defense also just really played really well.
And I know you have a good team, but always nice to go out and prove it in week 1.
Yeah, it is. A lot of unknowns walking in, especially when you graduate of seniors from last year and refilling a bunch of holes and stuff. It's good that these young guys are stepping up and the seniors are leading the way, and the junior class has really kind of stepped into that role.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Eastern head coach Josh Edwards, coming off a sectional championship last fall. This is an exceptional way to follow it up.
Yeah, it is, man. It's not pretty. We had some silly penalties. We didn't execute real well, especially in the first half. But what we did show is the grit that we developed last year with our football team that we developed throughout that season as we became better and became a better unit last year. We kind of carried that grit and determination over. Man, you know, there's no way to describe it other than 46.6 seconds. We go down and we receive the kickoff, and then we start our drive with 38 seconds left, and we end up somehow putting a touchdown on the board with 4 seconds left. So, again, I just call it grit and determination. It would not win any beauty contest for sure, but we'll take it.
What was the difference tonight?
Well, I really think our leadership, man. I mean, it was huge. And again, Oak Hill, it's a great program, and I hate opening with them just because they are so darn tough and they are so well coached, and they're not going to give you anything. So they're going to expose everything that you guys still need to work on as a team. I think the big difference was our kids, our leaders, our captains really stepped up, and our kids just were determined. And I felt like our conditioning was very good. Felt like that's what kind of enabled us there in that last quarter to get some defensive stops and then get some very quick, explosive scores. So I felt like our conditioning was good. And then I really think our defense played well too. We had some really good short yardage stops. And then our guys just, they flew to the ball. We had some really good swarm tackling tonight.
Coach, I'm sure you had high expectations coming into this season. I'm sure this helps them even more, right?
Yeah, it does. You know, we feel like Oak Hill on our schedule is one of the top teams that we play. There's some very good teams on our schedule, but we feel like Oak Hill, especially top to bottom as far as their players, and then you add in their staff, is probably either the best or the second best team that we play on our schedule, top to bottom every year. So in order for us to get over that hurdle, you know, it opens the door for us to do some really good things.
Coach, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to following the Comets throughout the season.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
Making his debut on the Central Indiana Sports Report is Eastern Hancock head coach Josh Holden after his first career head coaching varsity win. And coach, 50-14 over Greencastle, that surprises me. I'm sure that even surprised you a little bit.
Yeah, I think we know we've got some talented football players on our team. But we know Greencastle does too. And I think the start of the game, turning a kickoff for a touchdown right off the bat really set a tone for us. And to get that was huge for us. And then riding that momentum, getting some stops early on defense was huge. So the first quarter was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
What stood out to you tonight?
Well, I think my biggest takeaway, at least from kind of my focus going in, early on this week, we lost one of our best O-linemen, Braden Hester. And going in, we had some unproven O-linemen anyway. And losing him was pretty tough. And to see those guys, we had 3 different guys move positions on our O-line just to try to get a group that we thought could, move the line of scrimmage and give us some pass protection. And, those guys stepped up big. It ain't easy to go from a right tackle to a left tackle and left tackle to a right guard. And you got a kid who has not started on the O-line varsity level ever, and, plug him in. And for them to do what they did tonight was incredible. And I don't care. I mean, we got some unbelievable skill kids, but it don't matter how good they are if you can't block up front. And those guys did an outstanding job. And once we knew that they could handle their business up front, we felt a lot better, going forward in the game. So I'd say the offensive line was a pleasant surprise for us.
Coach, I know that coaches typically don't want to make it about themselves, but for you personally, your first varsity football coaching win.
Well, I'm glad it's over. Eastern Hancock's a great place to be. For me to be blessed to be the head football coach here it's unreal. I know there's a lot of people who would love to be in my shoes. I didn't take over a struggling program. I took over a great program from Coach Etch, and just super blessed. And lots of people have reached out to us tonight and congratulated us and me specifically on the win, and tell them all I didn't play any football tonight. In fact, I didn't call a single play on offense or defense or special teams. I have great people around me, and if I'm good at anything, that's what I'm good at doing. It's surrounding myself with great people, and my OC, Will Kuntz, and my DC, Dylan Snyder. They did great. All my position coaches, had us ready to go, and I didn't have to do much. So I just want us to go out and do things that make people proud to be associated with our program, especially the people who have been around this town for a long time. This is part of their culture and part of their history, and I don't want to let those people down. I want them to look at what we're doing over here and go, that's the way things should be done. So, and I think we did that tonight. Greencastle's athletic director and principal were very complimentary of our team and our program and the way we handled ourselves there. So, I'm even more proud of those comments than I am about the win.
Well, Coach, congratulations again on your first win. Win number 2 is not going to be easy. I don't see a lot of easy wins on the schedule.
No, I didn't really look much at the schedule. I have known just from outside looking in about Eastern Hancock football. And I got here and I really sat down and started looking at the schedule and what we had ahead of us. And I went, oh my goodness, there's not an easy week. It's a gauntlet. And
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time and making your debut on the Central Indiana Sports Report. We look forward to covering the Royals going forward.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Thanks so much to Michelle Garmon, Aaron Tolle, Marty Wells, Sammy Mireles, Jeff Adamson, Brady Turner, Josh Edwards, and Josh Holden for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. And thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a football fan in your life and help us spread the word. The Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking sports every single day.
The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.